Are you taking magnesium supplements because you have heard they help with muscle health, only to feel like nothing is really changing? Here's a surprising truth. While magnesium is essential for muscle contraction, relaxation, and overall cellular energy, most people do not realize that the real key to preventing muscle loss as we age is not in a pill bottle. It is actually in your kitchen, hidden inside foods that speak directly to your biology. Why does this matter? Let me explain. After the age of 40, many people begin to experience a slow, almost invisible process called sarcopenia. Sarcopenia means age-related muscle loss. It is not just about having smaller muscles. It is about losing strength, losing balance, and losing metabolic resilience. In fact, research shows that sarcopenia is directly tied to a higher risk of falls, frailty, insulin resistance, and even premature death. This is not just about fitness. This is about survival, independence, and healthy longevity. Now, here's the challenge. Most of the conventional advice says, take more supplements, take more magnesium, take protein powders. But here is what is really going on inside your body. Muscle tissue is not built by supplements alone. Muscle tissue is built when the raw materials from real food interact with your hormones, your nervous system, and your metabolism. That means your diet, your timing of meals, and even your sleep patterns matter more than a capsule. Let me use a simple analogy. Think of your muscles as a construction site. Magnesium is like one of the workers on that site. Yes, you need that worker, but if you do not have bricks, cement, or an architect, the building never goes up. Supplements alone are like paying one worker to show up with no tools or building materials. What actually builds the structure is the food you eat, the signals you give your body, and the lifestyle choices that turn on the switch for growth instead of decline. So, in today's talk, I want to show you exactly which food can outperform magnesium supplements when it comes to protecting your muscles and reversing sarcopenia. We're going to dig into the science of how your body really maintains muscle, why this food is so powerful for energy and repair, and how to use it in daily life to stay strong well into your 60s, 70s, and beyond. By the end of this video, you will understand not only the physiology of muscle preservation, but also a practical set of tools you can begin using immediately. Because this is not just about adding years to your life. It is about adding life to your years with strength, vitality, and resilience that lasts. Let us start with a hard truth. Sarcopenia does not arrive overnight. It begins quietly, often in your 40s, and accelerates each decade that follows. The frustrating part is that most people do not notice until it is too late. You might bend down to pick up a grocery bag and realize it feels heavier than it used to. You might struggle to climb stairs or recover more slowly from exercise. These are not just signs of aging, they are signals that your muscle tissue is shrinking and losing its metabolic power. Here is what is really going on inside your body. Muscle is not just for movement, it is the largest organ in your body for glucose disposal. In other words, your muscles act like a sponge for blood sugar. When they are healthy and strong, they pull glucose out of the bloodstream and store it as glycogen for energy. When they shrink, that sponge dries up. The result is higher blood sugar, more fat storage, more insulin resistance, and a higher risk of diabetes. That is why sarcopenia is not just about strength, it is about metabolism and longevity. Now, here's the myth we need to address. Many people hear that magnesium is essential for muscle contraction, so they start taking a supplement. Magnesium does play a role. It helps muscles relax after contraction, it supports energy production in the mitochondria, and it regulates nerve signaling. But here is the problem. Magnesium is just one cofactor in a massive orchestra of nutrients and signals that build muscle. Taking magnesium alone is like adding one violin to an empty concert hall. You need the whole orchestra, amino acids, hormones, and physical stimulus for the music of muscle building to actually play. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine your muscles are like a factory. The workers in the factory need raw materials to build products. Magnesium is like the electricity that powers the lights and machinery. Without electricity, nothing happens. True, but if you only have electricity and no raw materials, No bricks, no steel, no parts. The workers still cannot produce anything. In muscle terms, the raw materials are amino acids, the building blocks of protein. Without them, magnesium cannot create muscle tissue, no matter how much you supplement. What the research shows is that sarcopenia is primarily a result of anabolic resistance. This means that as we age, our muscles become less responsive to the normal signals that should trigger growth. Younger muscle can easily respond to small doses of protein or resistance exercise. Older muscle requires a stronger, louder signal. Supplements alone cannot provide that signal, but specific foods rich in certain amino acids can. So, why does this matter for you? Because if you are relying only on magnesium capsules, you are not addressing the root cause. The real driver of muscle health is how your diet interacts with your hormones and your muscle cells. This is why you will see individuals who take supplements but still lose muscle year after year. The root cause is not being addressed. Here's the good news. You can reverse this process. Studies show that even in your 60s and 70s, your body is capable of building new muscle fibers if you give it the right conditions. That means providing the right nutrients, applying the right stimulus, and minimizing the hormonal disruptions that break muscle down. And before we go further, let me pause and say this. If what I am sharing is already making sense to you and you find it valuable, consider subscribing. I post content like this every day to help you understand your body and take control of your health naturally. In the next section, we will explore the specific nutrients, especially amino acids like leucine, that act as the real ignition switch for muscle growth. Once you understand that, you will see why food, not just supplements, is the key to protecting yourself from sarcopenia. Now that you understand why magnesium alone cannot solve sarcopenia, let us talk about what truly turns on the muscle building switch in your body. That key is protein, and more specifically, amino acids. Proteins are made up of amino acids, which are like Lego bricks. Your body takes these amino acids and snaps them together into muscle fibers, enzymes, and hormones. But among the 20 different amino acids, there is one that acts like the foreman of the construction site. That amino acid is leucine. Here is what is really going on inside your body. When you eat protein-rich foods, leucine acts as a trigger for a pathway in your muscle cells called mTOR, mechanistic target of rapamycin. Think of mTOR as the on-off switch for growth. Without leucine, the switch stays off. With enough leucine, the switch turns on and your muscles begin the repair and building process. This is why a simple protein shake or a handful of nuts does not always stimulate muscle growth in older adults. They may not provide enough leucine to overcome anabolic resistance. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine you are trying to start a campfire. You can pile up all the logs you want. Those are the amino acids. But unless you strike a match, the fire never lights. Leucine is the match. It sparks the flame that tells your muscles, build now. Magnesium, in this analogy, would be like the metal grate you cook on. Useful, necessary, but not the spark that gets the fire going. What the research shows is that older adults often need more leucine per meal than younger individuals to stimulate the same muscle response. A young adult might trigger muscle synthesis with as little as 10 grams of protein, but someone in their 60s may need 25 to 30 grams of high-quality protein at a time, rich in leucine, to achieve the same effect. This is why grazing on tiny snacks throughout the day often fails to preserve muscle. The leucine threshold is never crossed. So where do we find leucine? The richest natural sources are foods like eggs, poultry, beef, fish, and certain dairy products like Greek yogurt and whey. Even plant-based options such as soy and legumes contain leucine, though typically in lower concentrations. The key is to center at least 1 to 2 meals a day around a leucine-rich protein source to guarantee you flip the mTOR switch. Here is a practical way to apply this. Instead of nibbling on a small salad at lunch, add a piece of salmon or chicken breast. Instead of only oatmeal at breakfast, add a couple of eggs or a scoop of whey protein. These are small but powerful upgrades that cross the leucine threshold and send a clear signal to your muscles. A 2018 study published in the Journal of Nutrition found that distributing protein evenly across meals with at least 30 grams of protein per meal was significantly more effective at maintaining lean muscle mass in older adults compared to loading all protein at dinner. This shows that timing and distribution matter just as much as total intake. And here is the big takeaway. Leucine-rich foods do what magnesium supplements cannot. They directly activate the machinery of muscle synthesis. Magnesium is supportive, but leucine is instructive. One provides the environment, the other gives the command. If you want to stop sarcopenia, you need the command. In the next section, we will reveal the specific food that research shows outperforms magnesium supplements for protecting and building muscle, and how to use it strategically in your diet. So what is the food that outperforms magnesium supplements when it comes to building muscle and fighting sarcopenia? The answer is simple, but profoundly powerful: eggs. Now, I know that eggs may sound almost too ordinary to be the solution, but do not underestimate them. Eggs are one of the most nutrient-dense, muscle-preserving foods you can put on your plate. They are rich in complete protein, meaning they contain all 9 essential amino acids, including leucine, the critical trigger we talked about earlier. In fact, one large egg contains about half a gram of leucine. 2 or 3 eggs can easily push you closer to that leucine threshold needed to switch on muscle building through the mTOR pathway. Here is what is really going on inside your body when you eat eggs. The amino acids from the egg protein enter your bloodstream quickly, delivering a direct signal to your muscle cells to start building. At the same time, eggs provide healthy fats, choline for brain health, and vitamin D, which has been shown to play a role in muscle function and strength. Unlike a magnesium supplement, which only supports one narrow aspect of muscle physiology, eggs provide the complete package, the raw materials, the spark, and the supporting nutrients all in one. Let me give you a simple analogy. Think of your muscles like a car engine. Magnesium is like the oil. It keeps everything running smoothly, but without fuel, the engine does not move. Eggs are like filling the tank with premium fuel. They not only provide energy, they ignite the process that moves you forward. What the research shows is that eggs are uniquely effective for muscle protein synthesis. A 2017 study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that consuming whole eggs after resistance exercise promoted greater muscle protein synthesis compared to eating only egg whites. The yolk contains key nutrients and cofactors that enhance the muscle building effect. In other words, nature designed the egg as a complete muscle food, and when you eat the whole egg, you unlock the full benefit. This is especially important when we talk about sarcopenia. Older adults often face anabolic resistance, meaning their muscles are less responsive to protein. By consuming foods like eggs, which are rich in leucine and easy to digest, you can deliver a powerful, clear signal to your body to keep building. So how can you put this into practice? Here are a few simple strategies. Have 2 or 3 eggs at breakfast, paired with vegetables and maybe a small serving of avocado for healthy fat. Use hard-boiled eggs as a portable, protein-rich snack instead of reaching for processed foods. Or make an omelet with spinach and cheese to combine leucine with other nutrients that support metabolic health. The point is not just to eat eggs occasionally, but to use them strategically, especially in meals where you need that leucine threshold crossed. And let me pause here for a moment. If what you are hearing so far is helpful and you want more science-based tools to strengthen your body naturally, go ahead and subscribe. I post content like this every day designed to help you take charge of your health without depending on pills or medications. Here's the bottom line. Magnesium supplements may have their place, but they cannot replace what real food like eggs provides. Eggs deliver the amino acids, the leucine trigger, and the supporting nutrients your muscles need to grow and thrive. They are simple, affordable, and backed by science. In the next section, we are going to zoom out and look at the hormonal piece of the puzzle, how insulin, cortisol, and growth hormone interact with your diet to either accelerate muscle loss or amplify growth. Once you understand this, you will see how food and hormones work together in a way that supplements alone never can. So far, we have established that magnesium alone cannot stop sarcopenia, and that amino acids, especially leucine-rich foods like eggs, play the leading role in turning on muscle growth. But there is another layer to this story, and it is just as important. Hormones are the chemical messengers that determine whether your body is in a building mode or a breaking down mode. Here is what is really going on inside your body. When you eat, exercise, or even experience stress, your hormones shift. These shifts send signals that either tell your muscles to grow, maintain, or shrink. Three of the most influential hormones in this process are insulin, cortisol, and growth hormone. Let us begin with insulin. Most people think of insulin only in the context of blood sugar and diabetes, but it is also one of the most anabolic hormones in your body. When insulin rises after a protein-rich meal, it helps shuttle amino acids into your muscle cells, where they can be used for repair and growth. But here's the catch: when insulin is chronically elevated from eating too many refined carbohydrates, it creates resistance. In that resistant state, insulin no longer does its job effectively and muscle suffers. So balanced insulin signaling is essential. Not too low, not chronically high. This is why pairing leucine-rich protein with fiber-rich vegetables and healthy fats is so powerful. It allows insulin to do its job without overwhelming your system. Next, cortisol. Cortisol is your stress hormone. It is useful in short bursts, like when you need to wake up in the morning or respond to an emergency. But when cortisol stays elevated due to chronic stress, poor sleep, or overtraining, it actually breaks down muscle tissue. Cortisol tells your body we are in survival mode. We need quick energy. To get that energy, it pulls amino acids out of your muscles and converts them into glucose. Over time, this catabolic effect accelerates sarcopenia. This is why stress management, deep sleep, and recovery days are not luxuries. They are part of the muscle-preserving strategy. Finally, growth hormone. Growth hormone is like the opposite of cortisol. It rises naturally when you sleep deeply, when you fast occasionally, and when you exercise intensely with resistance or intervals. Growth hormone promotes fat burning and directly stimulates muscle repair. In fact, studies show that even modest increases in growth hormone can enhance the effects of resistance training in older adults. This is why lifestyle factors such as getting 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep, practicing time-restricted eating, and lifting weights 2 to 3 times a week have such dramatic impacts on muscle health. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine your muscle is like a bank account. Insulin is the teller who deposits money into the account when you eat properly. Cortisol is the thief who sneaks in at night and withdraws your savings under stress. Growth hormone is the investor who multiplies your money while you sleep and recover. Whether your account grows or shrinks depends on which of these players is most active. What the research shows is that when diet and lifestyle align with healthy hormone rhythms, the risk of sarcopenia decreases dramatically. For example, a 2020 study in Frontiers in Endocrinology highlighted that older adults with better insulin sensitivity and lower cortisol levels retain significantly more lean muscle mass over time. So, what does this mean for you? It means that building muscle and fighting sarcopenia is not just about eating more protein. It is about creating an internal environment where your hormones are working with you, not against you. That means stabilizing blood sugar, lowering stress, prioritizing sleep, and activating growth hormone naturally through movement and fasting windows. And before we move forward, let me pause for a quick reminder. If you are finding these explanations clear and helpful, subscribe to the channel. I share this type of science-backed content every day, and subscribing helps you stay informed while supporting this mission of natural health. In the next section, we are going to connect all of this together. We will look at the lifestyle activators, timing of meals, exercise routines, and sleep strategies that amplify the effects of foods like eggs and create a hormonal environment that protects your muscles for decades. We have covered the importance of amino acids, especially leucine, and we have explored how hormones shape the muscle-building environment. Now it is time to put these principles into action with the lifestyle activators that can multiply your results. Because food alone is powerful, but food plus the right timing, exercise, and sleep becomes a game changer. Here is what is really going on inside your body. Your muscle is a living, dynamic tissue. It responds to signals. When you send the right signals through your lifestyle, your body turns on muscle protein synthesis more effectively, even in your 50s, 60s, and 70s. Let us start with meal timing. Research shows that spreading protein intake across the day is far more effective than loading all of it into one meal. Remember the leucine threshold we discussed? Your muscles need a strong enough dose of leucine at least 2 to 3 times a day to activate growth. That means aiming for 25 to 30 grams of protein at breakfast, lunch, and dinner, not just at dinner. Think of this like watering a plant. If you give the plant one giant bucket of water once a day, most of it runs off. But if you water it consistently throughout the day, the soil absorbs it and the plant thrives. Your muscles work the same way. Now let us talk about exercise. If food is the spark, resistance training is the amplifier. When you lift weights or use your own body weight in push-ups, squats, or resistance bands, you create microscopic tears in your muscle fibers. Your body then rushes to repair those fibers, and in the process, it builds them back stronger. This is the perfect moment to pair with leucine-rich foods like eggs, because exercise opens the door and protein supplies the building blocks. Studies have shown that combining resistance training with protein-rich meals doubles the impact compared to either one alone. Sleep is the next activator. Deep sleep is when growth hormone surges, and growth hormone is one of the most anabolic hormones you have. If you are only sleeping 5 hours a night, you are robbing yourself of one of the most natural muscle-preserving tools available. Aim for 7 to 9 hours in a dark, cool environment and try to be consistent with your bedtime. Think of sleep as the overnight construction crew. Without them, the daytime progress does not stick. Stress management ties all of this together. Chronic stress elevates cortisol, which breaks down muscle tissue. Practices like deep breathing, walking in nature, meditation, or simply taking time to unplug lower cortisol and protect your hard-earned gains. Here is a practical protocol you can apply right away. Start your day with a protein-rich breakfast. For example, 2 eggs with spinach and avocado. Do a short resistance workout at least 3 times per week. This can be bodyweight exercises if you do not have equipment. Spread protein evenly across your meals, making sure each contains at least 25 grams and crosses the leucine threshold. Prioritize 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep. Incorporate at least one stress-reducing practice daily, even if it is just 10 minutes of breathing exercises. Let me give you a simple analogy. Imagine you are trying to grow a tree. The seed is your protein, the water is your meal timing, the sunlight is your exercise, and the soil is your sleep. Without any one of these, the tree struggles. With all of them together, the tree flourishes. Your muscle health works the same way. What the research shows is that lifestyle activators can literally reverse age-related muscle loss. A 2019 study in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society found that older adults who combined high-quality protein intake with regular resistance training gained muscle mass and strength comparable to individuals 20 years younger. In the next section, we will bring all of this together into a simple daily protocol that you can follow to keep your muscles strong, your metabolism resilient, and your body protected from sarcopenia for decades to come. We have now laid out the science, why magnesium supplements alone cannot stop sarcopenia, why leucine-rich foods like eggs are essential, how hormones dictate the environment for growth, and how lifestyle activators multiply results. Now it is time to put all of this into a simple daily protocol you can start using immediately. Here's what is really going on inside your body. Muscle responds best to consistent, repeated signals. Occasional bursts of protein or exercise are helpful, but they do not create lasting change. What builds and protects muscle is a steady rhythm of the right foods, movement, and recovery day after day. That rhythm is what we are going to build here. Let us begin with the morning. Start your day with a leucine-rich breakfast. Instead of grabbing toast or cereal, make 2 or 3 eggs your foundation. Add sautéed vegetables like spinach, mushrooms, or peppers for fiber and micronutrients. If you enjoy dairy, a side of Greek yogurt adds even more protein. This breakfast does 2 things. It crosses the leucine threshold to switch on muscle protein synthesis, and it stabilizes your blood sugar, giving insulin a chance to do its anabolic job effectively. Midday is your opportunity to reinforce the signal. Aim for at least 25 to 30 grams of protein at lunch. This could be grilled chicken on a large salad, salmon with roasted vegetables, or a plant-based option like tofu stir-fry. The key is that the meal must contain enough leucine to activate mTOR and remind your muscles to keep building. Think of this as tapping the shoulder of your muscle cells and saying, stay awake, keep working. In the afternoon, consider a short bout of resistance activity. This could be as simple as a 20-minute session of bodyweight squats, push-ups, lunges, or resistance band work. Exercise at this time not only stimulates your muscles directly, but also makes your evening protein meal more effective because the muscle fibers are primed for repair. Dinner is your third opportunity to reinforce growth. Again, prioritize protein, whether that is a serving of beef, fish, poultry, or a plant-based protein like lentils combined with quinoa. Remember, the goal is not just total grams of protein, but hitting that leucine threshold at each meal. Pair your dinner with colorful vegetables to provide antioxidants that reduce inflammation and protect muscle tissue from oxidative stress. Now, let us address the evening routine. Aim for 7 to 9 hours of high-quality sleep. To prepare for this, shut down screens at least 30 minutes before bed. Keep your bedroom cool and dark, and go to bed at a consistent time. During deep sleep, growth hormone surges, cortisol lowers, and your muscles undergo their most profound repair and rebuilding process. Sleep is the anchor that locks in all the work you did during the day. Finally, build stress management into your daily life. Even 10 minutes of deep breathing, meditation, or quiet walking outdoors lowers cortisol and prevents unnecessary muscle breakdown. Remember, every spike in cortisol is like making a withdrawal from your muscle bank account. Daily stress reduction is your way of protecting your savings. Here's a simple checklist you can follow each day. 3 protein-rich meals, each containing 25 to 30 grams of protein and crossing the leucine threshold. 1 session of resistance activity, even if short and simple. 7 to 9 hours of restorative sleep. At least 1 stress reduction practice, such as breathing, walking, or meditation. What the research shows is that protocols like this not only slow sarcopenia, but can actually reverse it. In fact, clinical studies have demonstrated that older adults following similar routines gain lean muscle mass, improve insulin sensitivity, and reduce their risk of falls and fractures, often within 12 weeks. The beauty of this approach is that it does not rely on expensive supplements or complicated routines. It is built on whole foods, natural rhythms, and consistent habits. Eggs, protein-rich meals, strength-building movement, sleep, and stress control. These are the foundations of lasting muscle health. In the next section, we will bring everything together in a powerful conclusion, summarizing the key physiological insights and challenging you to apply just one of these changes starting today. We have covered a lot of ground today, so let us step back and pull the big picture together. Here is what is really going on inside your body. Sarcopenia, the slow age-related loss of muscle, is not just about looking weaker. It is about losing one of the most important metabolic organs in your body. Healthy muscle acts like a sponge for glucose, stabilizing blood sugar, protecting you from diabetes, fueling your daily energy, and even keeping your brain sharp. When muscle disappears, so does your resilience, independence, and vitality. We began with the myth that magnesium supplements are the solution. Yes, magnesium is important. It helps muscles contract and relax. It supports energy in your cells, and it plays a role in nerve signaling. But magnesium alone is not enough. Supplements cannot replace the signals, the raw materials, and the environment your body needs to build and preserve muscle. What actually works is food, especially leucine-rich foods like eggs. Eggs provide the amino acids that flip the mTOR switch, the healthy fats and micronutrients that support metabolism, and the completeness of nutrition that supplements cannot replicate. They are one of nature's most perfect muscle-preserving foods. And then we saw how hormones shape the outcome. Insulin deposits nutrients into your muscles when balanced. Cortisol breaks muscle down when stress is chronic. Growth hormone repairs and rebuilds when you sleep deeply. The daily choices you make, what you eat, how you move, how you manage stress, and how you sleep determine whether those hormones are working for you or against you. And finally, we turn science into practice with a protocol you can start today. 3 protein-rich meals, each crossing the leucine threshold, 1 resistance training session several times a week, 7 to 9 hours of restorative sleep, and daily stress reduction. These are simple steps, but when combined, they create the perfect environment for your muscles to stay strong no matter your age. Here is the challenge I want to leave you with. Starting today, choose just one of these strategies and put it into action. Maybe it is having eggs for breakfast instead of toast. Maybe it is doing 10 squats before dinner. Maybe it is turning off screens 30 minutes before bed to get deeper sleep. Just one small step. Then track how your body responds, your energy, your strength, your focus. Over time, these small steps compound into resilience that will carry you into your 60s, 70s, and beyond with strength and independence intact. So, forget the idea that a pill alone will save your muscles. The solution is simpler, more natural, and more powerful real food, smart habits, and consistent daily rhythms. If this message added value for you, like the video and subscribe to the channel. Join thousands of others who are learning how to optimize their health naturally, without dependence on medication. Together, we can build a stronger, healthier future.